Sigma Europe 21. I'm here with Joseph Borg, who is a partner at WH Partners. Joe, we've spoken many times about regulation. We've talked about compliance. I'm so thrilled that I can talk to you about it again. Tell me and tell everyone, first of all, WH Partners, what do you do?
Well, we're a law firm mainly, but obviously we have within our group we have a CSP that sets up companies and does corporate work for clients, and also we have other entities that provide other services, including we are a VFA agent through WH Innovation, and we assist companies to obtain licenses from the MFSA.
So this is the place that you want to be at. But not only is this good for you to be here at Sigma, you of course on Tuesday led the Compliance and Regulation Conference. Tell me what was going on there and why was that important?
Well, yes, every year we host the Regulation and Compliance Conference at Sigma, and like every other year we try to get the best speakers, the highest quality speakers possible. And this year we had a very interesting lineup. In particular, had very interesting topics, very current topics, and we try to avoid going for topics that are basically being discussed in each and every conference, but we try to go for something that is particularly current at the moment. And definitely one of the most successful panels this year was the one about the player claims against gaming companies that are coming from Austria and Germany. That was a very, very interesting panel. We received amazing feedback about it, but also had very interesting panels about mergers and acquisitions and taxation. We had a very interesting panel about consolidation of the market, and in particular whether there's still space for medium-sized operators to find space within the market. And we had the flagship panel, which was about Malta 2022 and beyond. And there was also the panel that I was leading, where I was moderating a panel on payment innovation in the gaming industry. And in particular, we discussed a lot the use of cryptocurrencies in gaming, as well as new methods of play to earn and the use of NFTs. So it was a very interesting panel.
Well, I was going to say, you hit all of the hot topics. These are all the topics that I've heard being discussed over the last couple of months, but certainly here at Sigma, everybody's talking about this. And regulation is an issue that never goes away. As territories open, as issues like you just mentioned about Austria and Germany, a lot of people are talking about this right now, as well as North America is a bit of a buzzword at the moment as well. But let's keep this within Europe. Apart from Austria and Germany, what's really happening in Europe at the moment with regards to regulation that's really important? What are the real big issues right now and probably for the next, let's say, 12 months?
Well, regulation, some consider it a necessary evil. In truth, it does limit the growth of an industry, but in the long run, regulation is important because it gives legal certainty. And that's how the industry grows. In fact, we've seen the industry grow more and more the more it got regulated by different jurisdictions. In the coming months, I think we'll keep on facing the same challenge in relation to payments, for example. It's becoming always more difficult to find banking partners, to find payment solutions that work in all the jurisdictions or in specific jurisdictions. So this is something that definitely we are going to see. We're going to continue seeing a lot of consolidation, a lot of mergers and acquisitions, as we have seen over the past couple of years. The amount of mergers and acquisitions that happened during COVID and post-COVID is unprecedented, I would say. But this has been a trend that's been going on for the past 3-4 years at least. So yes, I would say that that's what we're looking at. Then obviously there's innovation, so we're going to see more and more play to win rather than, play and earn more than play to win, rather than paying to play. And that's going to be an interesting, it's an interesting concept, and I'm pretty sure that it can change drastically the gambling industry.
Well, you see regulation, you mentioned this just a moment ago, but regulation is a double-edged sword, to be honest with you, because You know that it is going to slow the industry down, but it's also going to protect players. And if it's protecting players, what the industry itself is saying right now is protected players mean a sustainable industry, a sustainable future. And that's also one of the buzzwords that people are talking about. But of course, regulation also is different for every single territory. And this is one of the issues that I've heard over the last couple of days where people are saying, you know, even in the US, every single state is treating regulation differently. However, the learnings to protect players and the best practices should surely be the same. Are we ever going to get to a point where regulation is driven by best practice across all territories?
Definitely compliance costs are a big issue for this industry. The fragmentation of regulation is a big challenge, but it's nothing new. We've been through this over the past 10 years now. If you ask me, is there a good chance that maybe we're going to see some harmonization? I think it's very, very unlikely. In Europe, for example, there was an attempt way back in, I believe, was it 2017, 16? Well, no, before that actually. 2012, 11. There was an attempt by the European Commission. They came up with a green paper. They came up also with a recommendation for common standards for player protection. They didn't even agree on that, the member states. Common standards of player protection. So it is very unlikely that we're going to see harmonization in Europe anytime soon, if ever, unfortunately. But definitely, that would give a big boost to the industry. If we manage to at least find some common technical specifications, it would be a game changer. Because once you're compliant with one jurisdiction, you're automatically compliant with the others, and that would be amazing. Not saying we should have one license for all the countries, that will never happen probably in our lifetime, but having common technical standards agreed by the jurisdictions, that would be amazing. And the job here is for the operators to lobby their way. I think that they really need to be more active as associations rather than individually. They need to come together and try to convince legislators and regulators to find a solution to make this, to achieve this, at least some form of common standards on their protection and the technical specifications more than anything else.
But to be devil's advocate just for 1 second, if the industry is now, even themselves, sharing research, sharing learnings, sharing understandings of the industry as the industry matures, because you mentioned this was tried before with the green paper, but the industry is so young, and now we're beginning to see real maturity within the industry. But surely, I mean, you talk about this unity, and hopefully there'll be some sort of unity across the territories, particularly in Europe. It's all about best practice, and I've seen that iGaming companies are starting to talk to each other. They're starting to share the benefits of the research that they are investing in.
Yes, and that's a very positive thing. We've seen a lot of improvement from that point of view, but I believe that the industry is still not cooperating enough with each other. The industry players are not cooperating enough with each other, especially when it comes to strategic decisions. And unless you go to the regulators and the legislators with something really concrete, like, yes, now there's data, they are doing studies, they're performing studies. And unless you go with something concrete all together and show them, look, this is the data. In the UK, it's being done. For example, the UK, actually, it was coming from the government. They were asking for information, for evidence from the operators. They collected and they realized certain things that were shocking. And shocking positively for the industry for the first time probably. And if they go and show these studies and lobby with the right people, and I say lobby, I'm not saying, but actually try to educate the politician, try to educate the media, try to educate the public, educate the regulators, and showing them what is really being done, I believe that is crucial.
Well, so, you know, Malta is a bit of a veteran when it comes to regulation, because Malta has been established as an iGaming centre for a very long time. Going back to the early start of iGaming, and of course this is where you've come into play, because you're taking care of advising the industry on matters concerning regulation and compliance. Do you think we'll be seeing Malta still leading the way in this? Where is Malta's role within this wider scope?
Well, it's definitely very different, the situation, from what it was in 2007 when I joined the industry and I was a regulator myself. So it was much easier, let's call it that way, because it was a no-brainer for everyone to come to Malta. But the interesting thing actually is that the jurisdiction kept on growing. As time passed, the jurisdiction never stopped growing. It's still growing now. So Malta is very much relevant. Maybe the Maltese license is, well, far from relevant compared to what it was at the time. But as a jurisdiction, we're still relevant, and if we take care of this industry is going to stay with us for the foreseeable future. And this industry is a very interesting industry that creates talent. It fosters talent. And this talent then is used by other industries as well. So it is crucial that this industry remains in Malta. We are married, Malta and this industry, and this marriage should be taken care of a lot.
Well, judging by the amount of people that have come to Sigma this week, that marriage is a very healthy marriage, because we're seeing a lot of people still wanting to come to Malta, being involved, and here at Sigma. How has Sigma been for you, apart from the conferences? How has your experience been?
Well, first of all, it's good to be back. That was my first post on my social media when I took the first photos when I came here. And so it's good to be back, first and foremost. Secondly, well, it was a very good conference. Not at the levels of 2019 pre-COVID, but we're not so far off. Considering also that this year there's a second tent, so the space is also a bit different and misleading. So possibly there are more people than one would think. I really liked the fact that they segregated the two exhibitions. The conferences were all great, not just the one we hosted, but I've attended a couple of other panels over the past days, and everything is so interesting, so professional. So yes, by all means, the Sigma is now synonymous with Malta, and I hope that it will keep on being successful as much as it has been over the past years.
Fantastic, Joe. I'm pretty sure it will be. Thank you so much for being with us here at Sigma. Thank you for your contribution to, obviously, with the conferences, and I'm wishing you all the very best from all of us.
Thank you very much.